All right, Gloves Up, episode 6. I'm your host, the Jewish Jawline, the soundboard guy, Jacob Kubman. And here in front of me are the 3 marquee fights for UFC 278. I figured I'd drop in real quick, got the webcam going, got the web page here. In the interest of time, it's going to be a little bit less edited and just more so me speaking my thoughts on the card, who I think is going to get it, talking about just how these fighters will match up with each other. And it'll be something I get out quick. Obviously, tomorrow night is the night of the card, so I want to get this out beforehand. Anyways, let's get into it. First off, Jose Aldo versus Marabdivacil. Marabdivacil his career has really been surging as of late. Obviously, he's been plowing through the bantamweight division, so super duper deserving of a guy like Jose Aldo. And then Jose Aldo, in his own right, has had a career resurgence at bantamweight, and he credits a lot of that to his dietitian that's been helping him out. He was a king of featherweight. Can't take anything away for what he did for the sport. He's had some vicious knockouts. He's always a fan favorite to watch. I enjoy watching him personally, and I think he actually poses a lot of threats to Marab. Marab is a fantastic chain wrestler, sets a fantastic pace, has decent striking, but Jose Aldo, man, he's almost the perfect complement to Marab because he has fantastic takedown defense. He's as fast as he's ever been. His coordination, his reaction time is still some of the best, very, very elite. And I don't know. I mean, Marab has been dropped before by guys that are less fast, less skilled, less talented. And then Jose, even Jose's old age, man, I think he's got this. I think he gets it by decision. I don't know. Marab's going to try to pressure him. We saw Pedro Munoz try to pressure Jose in a different way with stand-up, and Jose was just, his defense, that's another thing. That's another foil that you have to add to this. His defense is just fantastic. Second to none. So, I don't know, man. I think it's a travesty that Jose Aldo's an underdog in this fight. He's a plus 115, and I'm no betting man, but if I were, I'd put money down on Aldo to win by decision. That is my official prediction for this card, though I do think that Marab will pose a really, really big threat. Talking about takedowns and just with offensive wrestling, Jose's, I feel like he's too good for him everywhere. So I'm going to give this one to Aldo by decision. All right, Paulo Costa, Luke Rockhold, 2 guys that you would not want to be locked in a cell with because they'd probably do unspeakable things to you and there would be nothing you could do about it. Luke Rockhold opens at a plus 295 on the odds. And that's, I feel like, mostly because he's on a 2-fight loss skid. He's got knocked out in horrific fashion. His latest coming by way of Jan Blachowicz. And Paulo Costa opens up as a minus 360. That's because, man, Paulo's the eraser. Now, Paulo hasn't had the best luck as of late, but people forget, before that Israel Adesanya fight, he was undefeated and he was steamrolling people. I mean, there's a reason they call him the eraser. It's because he just erases people. He's exactly, you know what's funny about Paulo Costa? Paulo Costa fights exactly like you think a guy like Paulo Costa would fight. A big dude, lots of muscle, just comes forward, makes the fight ugly instead of technical, and just pressures you into the cage and just unloads, right? For Luke Rockhold, the guy that's been out for a while, he's older. I mean, he doesn't have, I saw the Weasel did a really, really good video on it. I agree with him. Luke doesn't really have a lot of the updated tools and skill sets that guys coming up in the UFC have now. I think it is going to be very, very difficult for Luke to kind of, I'd say, defend himself, because his chin's also just made of glass, seemingly. He has trouble keeping his hands up defensively, and while he is really, really skilled on the ground, and I do think that would be the avenue he should take this fight if he wants to have a win over Paulo, I see Paulo steamrolling him, quite honestly. I don't see this being particularly a technical fight. I think Luke's going to want to keep it technical, and I think Paulo knows he has to take advantage of his youth, of his athleticism, and I think he's going to do exactly that to get the dub here. I just don't see any way. I mean, maybe if Luke Rockhold can take him down, control him, use his fantastic jiu-jitsu, and catch Paulo in something that, yeah, we're talking about a very dominant fight for the United States vet, but man, it's hard for me to go against Paulo Costa, and it seems like Vegas feels the same way. Never say never, though. I don't want to, listen, a crafty vet like Luke that's been a champion in multiple promotions, middleweight, of course, you can never count a guy like that out. That's why, again, if you want another, I don't want to say a safe bet, but if you want to kind of spice up the night, make yourself sweat a little bit, make yourself feel like you're Adam Sandler from Uncut Gems. Maybe put some money down on Luke Rockhold. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? All right, then finally we got Kamar Usman versus Leon Edwards for the welterweight championship. Kamar has just been nothing short of dominant. One of the greatest fighters, I think, of all time, or at least he's on a fast track to cementing his legacy as such. And then a guy in Leon Edwards who's been on a 9-fight win streak, was dominating Nate Diaz for the entire fight until he got caught. Although that does present its own problems. This is going to be a very interesting fight, and I think it's going to be a lot more close than people are thinking. Strictly because, listen, Kamaru, he's definitely fancied himself more now than ever as a striker, and that's fine because he has knockout power. I mean, have you looked at the size of this man? I mean, he's disgustingly enormous, and he looks like a guy that could knock you out with one punch. What he did to Jorge Masvidal was nothing short of incredible, but Leon... I mean, man, I got to go Leon in this, right? I'm going to go against the grain. Leon's just fantastic at staying out of trouble. I don't think he's going to let himself keep his guard down like Jorge did, where, Kamar was able to kind of pull his lead guard down and then uncork that shot. That's just not going to happen to Leon. That's not, simply put, right? Over the course of this fight, Leon is going to be defensively responsible. He's probably going to cut Kamar Usman up and make him shoot takedowns. Now that comes to Leon Edwards' takedown defense. He has an overall solid game. That's the reason why I would give the nod to Leon and why I think he has a very substantial chance of winning this. Probably the best chance out of any of Kamaru's competitors besides Kobe Covington. Yeah, I think Leon's just... the theme of this fight for Leon is stay out of trouble, but also set his own pace, because the thing that got him in trouble in the Nate Diaz fight was that he kind of started cruising. I think he has a tendency to do that, where he's so good defensively that he can kind of just go into autopilot mode. You cannot do that against Kamar Usman, especially a guy like him that's so mentally tough and is always clocked in over the course of a fight. So, very interesting one, man. I think... I'll go Leon. I'll go Leon via decision. It would be crazy if he gets him out of there with the finish, but I could also see it going the way of Kamaru. That's been my prediction for the 3 marquee fights on this card. I know Tyson Pedro is making his comeback. He's a hell of a fighter, a savage, a guy with insane amounts of power that's a finishing artist, so he's going to be fun to watch too. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below, and of course, I've been your host, Jacob Cooperman, the Jewish Jawline, the Soundboard God, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Gloves Up. Peace.